So hi everyone. Today we have Jyotsna with us. So we are doing this the next step series where we try to understand, what have been different career paths that people have taken and what was the decision making process like. So welcome Jyotsna.
Thank you, Sonali.
So Jyotsna, before we start, why don't you, take a minute or two and introduce yourself?
About myself, I have a background in aerospace, and then I continued. I picked up machine learning with applied mathematics, and ended up working in machine learning AI. But then I moved back into aerospace and the combination of aerospace and AI, and that's where I'm working now today.
So I want to go back to when you were in Manipal and you were doing your undergrad studies, right? So, what was your thought process like when you were thinking about placements and jobs? You went for a core job, right? So, what did you think at that point of time? Because I'm sure like there are a lot of options that people have.
Yeah. So in India, normally, when you are from a core field, say like mechanical or aerospace, you have two options. Either you do a core job or you get into one of the IT companies. So for me, I was still very passionate about aerospace and I wanted to continue doing that. There was one company that came for campus placements that was offering a core job. Although it was an engineering services company, I said, okay, it's going to be a good experience. At least I learned something in my core job. And that was my reasoning behind wanting to join that job. So in the job, what I was really doing is I was doing the job of a design engineer where I was working on projects for Rolls-Royce in designing the components for their aircraft engines. So that's what I was doing. Yeah.
So, what would be like your recommendation for people who are looking at their first job right now and are, thinking about placements? So, would there be any things that come to your mind from your own experience?
So when you're at the end of your engineering, it is just beginning of your professional career. And if you have any bit of idea or you have some idea about where you want to go, not in 10 years, not maybe in like 5 years, what direction do you want to take? I know all of us are very confused at the time. Uh, just think about what you enjoy doing. So, and at least for now, forget about trying to think about what you will enjoy in 10 years. It's not possible. No one will know. So try to understand what you enjoy doing now and be sure for yourself that, okay, I enjoy doing this. I will continue pursuing this. Maybe that path is going to be a little harder than any other path, but it's something you will enjoy. So you might as well put in some effort and time into it. So, and do something that will help you continue working, doing things you enjoy, and find your way into a situation where it is good both financially for you as well as work-wise. So try to go in that direction at least.
Makes sense. So I'll step a little forward, right? Now you were working in a core job, and it was, I think, almost a year before you went for your MS. So what were you thinking at that point of time, and what made you sure that MS is something that I want to do, and that to this kind of a field? So what happened at that point of time?
It was going whether or not doing my master's was really because I did not see that right after my bachelor's, I did not see that I would get very good opportunities in aerospace. At least in India, I didn't see that happening. It's really because the kind of aerospace industry is not that mature in India, and most of the jobs you will get will be in services industry. And I wanted to do something more. I knew I could do better, and I didn't want. Only reason that I'm not doing good is that I'm in a specific place. So I said, so that is why it was very clear for me I had to do my master's. And in fact, I had already applied while I was in my fourth year to few aerospace schools in Europe. I actually got accepted as well. But my parents were a bit reluctant. So that was the only reason I worked that year. So I was actually planning to go directly for my master's. But in hindsight, it actually helped. Taking that year off actually helped me understand myself better, understand what I enjoy doing better. And so the next time I applied, applied to completely different courses. So when I was applying in my fourth year, I was so focused in core aerospace, and I only applied to schools that offered that. And in that 1 year, I spent a lot of time doing side projects outside of my job, meeting new different kind of people, going to hackathons, getting an understanding what are the other technologies that are going around, and trying to pick up other skills outside of in aerospace, because I just enjoyed doing them. So I was having fun building technology solutions. So just building things, I was enjoying that a lot. And more and more, and learned about about that and myself, I realized that more than aerospace itself, what I really enjoyed is how different technologies came together to solve real problems in the world. So I started enjoying that more and more. And so next time when I looked for my master's, I said I was more focused on which place will give me this opportunity to explore more on this, because I knew that I had to learn more about the engineering itself. There was just so much to learn. But at the same time, I also wanted to learn, how do I transform these into solutions in the real world? So I was trying to look for a mix. It was not a conventional course that I understood, but somewhere, if it fit this criteria for me, I would have loved it. So that's how I started. It changed my mindset, and it changed what I was looking for, because I just got to know myself a little better. And so while doing that, I found few master courses at some of the schools. I found one school which offered the best of both for me. So it was a very reputed engineering school. So I knew I will get a very good chance of picking up my skills in terms of engineering. But at the same time, the course also offered core classes and subjects on how do you translate this technology into, well, products or services in the real world. How would you do that business side of it as well? So I felt like it was perfect for where I was in my mindset and my thinking, and I really wanted to do it. It wasn't a conventional course, I would say. It was hard to explain at home what kind of jobs I would get after that. But I was confident that this is something I will enjoy doing. I really wanted to learn. And because of the reputation of the school, plus the quality of education there in that school, plus the course, the way it was, and also did a bit of background about what students from their after graduating were doing. And so I was quite confident I'll figure out something to do at the end of it. So I said, okay, let's go for it. I really love this course. I want to take this. It's perfect to where I am. And that's how I made that jump.
So you did two masters, right? And then after
Yeah.
that, you worked with Airbus for around 3 years. So could you help me understand like what? And I think you were working as a data scientist, right there. What exactly does a person who has done these kind of courses do at Airbus? Because you come with an aeronautical background as well, so I'm sure
Mm.
you understand that, and that would have worked in your advantage. So if you can help me
Mm.
understand a little bit more, like, what exactly were your roles and responsibilities?
So in the second master's I did, it was purely applied mathematics. And it was really about machine learning, AI, but with a very mathematical approach. So it gave me a very good fundamentals in terms of kind of methodologies. So while I was trying to explore, Airbus job happened, and I just happened to be in aerospace, to be fair. And in aerospace, I would say, well, AI hasn't left any industry, so it's really changing how most industries are operating, creating new products, or in their fundamental research itself. So even in Airbus, I had two different roles. First 1 year, I was with the Chief Technology Office. So it was a central office located right below the CTO. And the goal of that team was trying to understand all the quite futuristic research and technology that is happening in the entire country, in the entire company. When I was hired, my job was really to understand this amount of information and use their science to make sense of it. So I was usually working with graph-based machine learning, network analysis, trying to use NLP to do part of the analysis. So I was doing a mix of all these different methods to try and make sense of how will you put together so much information and make sense of that. So that was the first 1 year. After that, I switched to another team. And there I was actually working on 2 different projects. 50% of the time I was working for this demonstrator project where we were trying to demonstrate autonomous flying from taxi, takeoff, and landing, completely autonomous without any support from any external devices. This was supposed to be going on to a real aircraft, Airbus A350, and flown, and everything has to be demonstrated within 2 years. It was quite the challenge. It was very exciting that what you're building was going to go inside a real aircraft and it's going to fly it itself. And on the other side, the other project I was working the other 50% of my time was again another project on autonomous flying, but it was more research oriented and more exploratory in the sense that we wanted to completely make the system learn itself how to fly, the entire control system itself learn how to fly the same way you would teach a pilot, except it's an algorithm that's learning.
Yeah. So what happened, like, last year when you decided that I want to do my own startup? So what was like the trigger point for you, and what made you sure that, this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave behind all this which is happening, which is really cool, but I'm going to do my own startup.
Yeah, it was a hard decision. I mean, it wasn't so hard in the sense that I knew I want to do it. So it was that, but it was also a thought process where I'm actually working on things I'd always dreamed about working. And then I'm leaving that. It was quite a big decision, sure. So what happened was, it was almost 2 years ago from now, I started just as a side project, because I guess right from the beginning, from my Manipal days, I always got into this habit of doing something outside of the coursework or outside of your normal job. So it was something I was always doing. So be it in Manipal, I was doing Aero MIT or other projects. It's the same way while I was working at Airbus. I was doing a lot of side projects just for fun. I was building a lot of things for fun. For me, it was very interesting to discover that, I thought this should exist already. It didn't. So it was very interesting. And when I was building these proof of concepts, it was fascinating what was possible with this technology, and even more fascinating that people were not using it. And that got me into this whole cycle where I was trying to build and see what build, and that made me realize what are the gaps. And once I built these proof of concepts, I would go meet different people, different companies, to understand why they are not using this technology. If it is so powerful, it could completely change the way their industry works and the way they get their insights for their industry. So it was, and I think this approach was this mix of building and testing and iterating with actual potential users. That really came from my first master's, where I did a mix of both business and engineering. So that gave me the fundamentals on how to approach certain kind of projects. So I did not do just POCs. I went around trying to understand why this was not being used, try to understand what are the other companies in this area doing, why, if they are so successful or not successful, why is the case, and who is using it, who is not using it. So I was doing this background research, as I would say, to really understand what's going around and why things are not happening the way I just assumed that it should be working, right? So more I learned, more I spoke to different companies, more different users, different experts in that domain itself, more I understood that there is a potential for a business here. And it was very exciting for me because it really combined my love for AI machine learning. And once I started work, I was looking for a potential partner, and trying to do demos and meet more people. So I was trying to do that, and in the process, it took me a bit of time, but by around end of May, June, I met my current co-founder, business partner. I pitched him my idea. I showed him my demos. I showed him the dream, and he felt that he was also in a space where he wanted to. He was on his side. He was fascinated about aerospace, so he wanted to do something in that sector. And when I pitched him the idea, that really caught his attention. And within next few weeks, we started working on it together. So it's about that time it really took off for me, the project itself. And quickly we got incubated at the incubator of my school where I did my master's. It was one of the good schools in France. So, and once we got incubated, from the time I met my business partner, it was really about what is the time I would quit. So I knew I would quit. I knew I had already taken it to a point where I knew I will pursue this. But it was about finding what would be a good time for me to quit, because being an immigrant here, you don't get all the comfort. So you can't just quit and sit at your parents' house and not worry about the rent and not worry about the food. So that's not going to happen for me here. So I had to make sure that I would be okay and find that time where I will be able to manage myself. So we got incubated around October, and we had a certain little more, the roadmap was a little more clear this time, and it was more clear for me that if I quit at a certain, around the time I quit, I should be able to manage myself until we will, and have enough time to raise money to pay ourselves and all of that. So it was really about, at the time, timing, getting to know the timing and have a little bit clear path for yourself.
So, Jyotsna, this brings me to the last question that I have, which is that, if you had to give a suggestion or some kind of, pointers to people who are exploring different career options right now and could potentially be also, looking at something similar to yours. So what would be your suggestion for them?
So don't worry if you don't understand what you're passionate about or what you want to do in 10 years. No one knows. So, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are so sure this is what they want to do rest of their life. But I would say be open. In this industry, AI industry, I didn't know about it when I was doing my engineering, let alone knowing that I would set up a business in that industry. So what I would suggest is try to understand yourself more. Try to understand what you enjoy doing. It can be in your field, it can be outside of your field. It doesn't matter. Try to understand what you enjoy doing. And for now, that's the only thing you know. So focus on that and try to understand what are the next steps. Maybe think of, say, 5 years, where would you want to be in that direction, and take steps that will help you get there. Don't take steps which will pander to your immediate needs, like, oh, if I go to this job, I will get this much money right now. Maybe it will make you a little less money right now, but it'll help you be better at where you want to be and enjoy doing what you do, because you spend at least 80% of your time doing in your profession, and you might as well like it. So it's not just about money. It might be about the place. It might not be the perfect situation. And of course, very importantly, don't look for a perfect situation. You'll possibly not find it. So I would say prioritize, at least in terms of if you're only thinking about your career. Of course, you're thinking about your family, and there are so many other considerations that come into it. But then that's a choice at that point what you do. But only thinking about the career, try to understand what you enjoy doing. To be more specific, if someone wants to take the path I did, say, for example, with the company, setting up a company, it doesn't matter which field you're from, which course you're from. If that is something you see yourself doing at any given time, I think the most important thing to realize is to pick up the knowledge that would go into different aspects. You don't have to be expert about it. Just learn a bit about the process, bit about the framework, because knowing that really helped me a lot. Because once you have built something or you have an idea, then what to do next is the biggest question. And learning a little bit about the framework that exists today about lean startup or the existing startup methods, it really gives you some direction. Of course, it's a continuous learning process, but it at least gives you a little bit of framework, what to look at, what to look for, and what are the different things you can start working on. You will never find the perfect timing, perfect situation to start with. So don't look for those perfect situations, and just start doing the job, start doing the work. Don't wait for anything else. It's never going to be perfect anyway. So just start doing the work.
Thank you so much, Jyotsna, for doing this. I'm sure, learning and learning from the experiences of people who have already been on that path is really very insightful and helpful for people who would be watching this. So thank you so much.